Yes, listen to the man. He is right. Let me give the phone numbers out real fast. 1-800-LOVE-191, 1-800-568-3191. Now for the fax number, kiddies, 310-854-4455. I'm Adam Carolla. That is Dr. Drew.
Came back.
Back from the dead. Back for more, are you?
I had to think about it tonight, but I decided to come back.
We tied Drew to the whipping post last night and gave him the cat of nine tails, and he's back, like the fool that he is.
Yes, indeed.
I'm sure planning on exacting a little revenge on his co-host.
Somewhere along the way, it's going to take a little thought, but eventually, yeah.
Is that what the enema bag in the hall was for?
No.
Okay, that may have been for Barry. We have Barry Nolan coming in tonight. Now, if you don't know that name, you should, because he is from Hard Copy. Now you know, you bunch of Pavlovian dogs, you. Everyone was going, Barry, huh? Hard what? Bong, bong. Everyone knows. And that's why they do it. They're no dummies.
Yeah.
We do the same thing. I was watching the show tonight.
Yeah.
He does an excellent job, by the way. I know who's butt to kiss before they come in.
Barry was a social worker, I think, at one time.
We are going to get into that. I'm sure he's been stripped of whatever license he was issued at another point in his life, but we'll get into that. Tonight's topics on Hard Copy, which I saw on the fabulous CBS network at 7 o'clock. Teen pornography. Deadly car chase. Well, that was all over the news. Julia Roberts and Matthew Perry meets Matthew's mom, which was really better than it sounded. Hello, this is Julia. Hi, I want you to meet my mom. Could you imagine a film crew? Oh, for Christ's sake. Anyway, Valentine's Day soap sex secrets. And I think they meant soap, not detergent, but the soap opera variety. Well, let's go to the phones. Let's go to where we know we can do some good. Steve, you're on LoveLine.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Hey, Doc, way to hold in there last night.
Yeah.
He was a trooper, wasn't he?
Sure was.
I gave him a sucker when he left.
Hey, my question is that I don't know, for some reason I'm namely dating Asian women, and like my friends and my family, they all notice it, and it's like, hey, you got a girlfriend? I was like, yeah. Oh, is she Asian? And it's like, I don't know what it is, why I'm attracted to her.
I'll tell you why it is. They got that smooth, silky brown skin. They got those beautiful brown eyes. They got that beautiful black hair. And they know how to treat a man.
Well, I don't know about that part.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a lot of them are like becoming, I guess, what they call Americanized.
Oh, that's bad. Anytime anyone becomes Americanized, it's bad. Even when Americans become Americanized, it's bad. Being Americanized is bad.
Yeah, so I don't know if there's any reasoning behind it, if the doc knew any reasoning.
No, Steve, there's nothing wrong with you. It is your personal preference. The real problem here is the pressures that you perceive coming from your friends and family. And that, you're not in the wrong.
No.
And not to say that their opinions are wrong, but they are their opinions. They're not yours. They're not your way of seeing things at all.
Well, people have enough trouble with sex and dating as is, and then you mix in other races and things that we sort of label as taboo in this culture.
Well, that's not taboo. I think
anytime you get into interracial type of dating, there's some taboo. You're telling me you got some buxom blonde girl going out with the Mandingo man, and that's not taboo in this society?
I think that people Steve age and younger have no problem with interracial dating. I think they finally kind of come to grips with that.
Well, Steve's fine with it. It's just his folks.
I think you maybe think it's taboo, and you're still part of that sort of hand-me-down establishment that exists out there.
Don't give me your Trump. Don't try to make up for last night with these half-hearted attempts. My character is beyond reproach.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I've noticed it comes from both sides, like not just my parents. But
well, a lot of people really have a preconceived notion of what it is you're supposed to date and who you're going to date and this sort of thing, who you're going to be, and that's their issue. It's not yours.
Okay.
I'm sure they have your best interest in mind. It's worth always listening to that input, but ultimately these are your decisions.
But Steve, do you have to date Asian women?
I don't have to, but it's like I was once with a white chick, and it just didn't do nothing for me. I mean, the sex was, it was cool, but I don't know, when I get with the...
So you figured she was like the representative for all Caucasian women. They had a big meeting. They had a quick ballot, and they took a show of hands, and they came up with her. and she ruined it for all Caucasian women. Let me tell you, there are plenty of hot women from every race.
Yeah, I know that.
You shouldn't limit yourself that
I
way.
try not to, but I don't know what it is.
But if you like the Asian women, then you like the Asian women, and that's your business.
Cool.
Tell everyone to screw right off, Steve.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, good man. Tell them I told you to say it.
I will.
Yeah, and they'll go, who? All righty. We're going back to the phones here. Tom,
Yeah, hi.
you're on LoveLine.
This is for Dr. Drew.
Yeah,
Oh,
Tom.
they all are.
Yeah, Tom, what's up?
Yeah, hi. I've got this raised testicle.
Undescended?
Well, yeah, it doesn't move.
It hasn't come down yet.
No, it hasn't. And the other one is.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if that would affect my reproducing life.
No, one testicle can supply all the testosterone you need.
You could actually share one with a guy that had no testicles.
You probably could.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you probably
They
could.
call it the buddy system.
Yeah, yeah. And but Tom, the real problem here is that testicle isn't descended, and it may yet come. If it doesn't, it needs to be brought down, and if not, they need to be removed because they can actually degenerate into cancer.
Now, did it come down and then look around and decide it didn't like it and go back up, or did it never come down?
I don't know.
You got to see.
What do you mean? Don't
just
give me
have-
that
just-
sassy
just-
voice, Tom. You would know.
Just talk to your doctor about it when you have a chance, because it's something needs to be taken care of. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, thanks.
All right.
Yeah. Boy's pretty sassy for a kid of 14. Vanessa.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. You're on LoveLine.
I have a question. Me and my boyfriend have been having sex for about 2 years now, and ever since like we started having sex, it hurts pretty bad. Like after 2 or 3 times we've been having sex still, and even before him, I mean, I had like quite a few partners, and it's not like I'm.
And it was never painful and it was never painful before?
No.
What
never.
part of the act is painful?
Inside.
No, like insertion or after you guys get going?
Yeah, like getting it in there. Once it's in there, it's okay. But then after, when I go to the bathroom, it burns pretty bad.
Mike, you are on your game tonight. You're earning your pesos. Vanessa, sex was always painful for this guy? With this guy?
This guy. Not during it. I mean, it feels good when we're having sex, but after like the second or third time, it's like it feels like it's too big.
Second or third time that evening?
Yeah.
Do you have a TV set?
No, yeah.
Do you have a refrigerator?
Yeah.
Okay, then. Do you know what I'm saying?
No.
Your problem is you're having sex 2 and 3 times a night. You should have sex
No,
once.
we don't have it like every day 2 or 3 times a night. But if we do,
All right.
then that's going to happen.
The point is you should bid a hasty retreat to the television, and he should go to the TV, and you should go to the refrigerator.
But I want to do it.
What is that is that the corners you're supposed to go to after an event?
That's right. Those are the neutral corners.
I
You, yes. And if one of you goes down, the other one has to get to a neutral corner and wait there until the ref gives a 10.
The guy can go to the
gives a 10
refrigerator.
count.
Yeah.
And once in a while, if the cut looks bad, they'll call the ring doctor in, and they may just put an end to the whole thing. Vanessa?
Yeah.
It's you got to understand, it's not made of Kevlar. You know what I mean? It's it's like a Swiss clock. A woman's parts.
I should be able to take it by now.
But no, let me tell you. Let me finish the Swiss clock analogy. You cannot take a beautiful Swiss timepiece and expect to go diving, and expect to go wrestling, and expect to go bungee jumping. You just can't do everything with it on. It's nice. You wear it out. It looks good. You take it easy.
Okay.
You cannot treat it like it was one of those Bataka bats that flower children from the 70s were told to beat their friends and family with to get out inner aggression. And speaking of inner aggression, here's Barry Nolan from Hard Copy.
Evening, gentlemen.
Thank you. How you doing?
I'm okay. It always cheers me up to hear the big typewriter ball hit you in the forehead.
Oh, that's what it is, yeah. Now,
You know, I don't know why we have that. It's obviously an IBM typewriter ball, and there's like 3 people in the United States that
It still has
use
that,
them.
yeah.
People, and another couple of years, people aren't going to have a clue what that's supposed to be.
Well, the whole
No, it's going to be like the in the old days the sort of symbol of the reporter was the old mechanical typewriter.
Yeah.
I think it's sort of a play on
But
that.
when was it's almost Dickensian now to think
Yes.
of some ink-stained wretch
Oh, yes.
using an actual typewriter.
Dickensian. Do you want to alienate this group in the
Sorry,
first
sorry.
5 seconds? You're
It's
in
like
this
real
room?
old guys.
There you go. Even old guys, some of the listeners are running to the thesaurus to figure out.
Sorry.
All right. Now, you got to know your audience, Barry. That's all I'm saying.
You're right.
You've been doing the
I-
show since '89.
Yeah.
And who did you replace, or did you
Guy
start
named
the
Alan
show?
Frio, the handsome guy with the gray hair that women just really like.
Did you put a hit on him, or what happened?
No, he got a real job. He went up to Sacramento and did news up there.
Oh yeah, I bet his folks are proud, and I bet he's pissed as hell seeing you on TV every night.
No, I think he was glad to, he had family up there and was glad to relocate because Los Angeles is a weird place to live if you have a family.
Yeah, no kidding. Now you guys, you do a lot of stories. Like I read some of the topicality out there tonight. Now, have you ever been attacked by a celebrity or anything?
Oh, as a matter of fact, a friend of mine ran into Matt LeBlanc, I'm
Right.
from Boston, and Matt's from Boston, and we'd
From Friends, right?
we'd met from friends, and we'd met each other and become friendly doing an auto race, the Toyota Grand Prix.
One of the celebrity challenge things.
And,
that is my that is
God.
my dream.
Oh man, it is the ultimate rush. You'd like it. You'd really. It's major adrenaline pump.
Right,
But-
destroy someone else's car.
Yeah.
And run like Cher into the pylons
Oh,
at
man,
the same time. I mean, what a thrill.
When I was waiting to go out, you have this little access track, then you follow the little pace car out
Right.
there, and the Indy cars are running before us. And I'd never been a car guy. The only thing I knew is I'd change my oil and fill up the gas. But I'm in this race, and you're waiting to go out, and you're wearing your little fire retardant suit, and your car's going, and these Indy cars are out there going. And you get out there, and the crowd is pumped, and they start playing the national anthem, and the engines start, dun, 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 and everybody's going, Madden.
Right, and you got the Olsen twins like flying you the bird on each side of you.
Your heart, you're having tachycardia. You're just going,
Let me give you my take on auto racing and celebrities for just 1 second, and
Okay.
we'll get back to you
And Matt.
physically beating Matt DeBlanc. And emotionally beating him. Here's the deal with auto racing. I don't think there's any talent to this sport because every celebrity that gets enough money eventually goes out and buys a car, starts a team, and is somehow
creams the
successful.
wall. Yeah.
Right, but it's a thing where if you got enough money, you can race cars.
You can race cars, but to actually win, I learned, I was not particularly good at it. To actually win,
You got to pay people.
no, you have to have. They send you out to this race course.
Oh, like the
for a while.
Bob Bondurant school?
Yeah, it's Fast Lane. It's up there in Lancaster, and I'd go out there, and these guys, you have these courses where they teach you about. Well, this is an early apex turn, and if you manage the weight of your car properly and get a larger footprint on your front tires, I'm going.
Yeah.
Does that mean you go faster?
Screw that. Where's
Yeah,
my
what-
flask?
yeah, all right.
All right, well, tell us about the time you beat the crap out of Matt LeBlanc.
So we became friendly doing this race, and then time goes by, and a friend of mine runs into him in Las Vegas at the big NATBE convention.
Sure.
And he goes, oh, yeah, I am a friend of Barry Nolan's. Barry Nolan? Screw Barry Nolan! So they always want to get in my business and, know about... And we'd been friends, and he thought for some reason that we'd never do anything about Matt LeBlanc on hard copy, except that Matt's very successful and he's going to make $1 million.
Right.
And, geez, it doesn't work that way.
Right,
Once you become that famous.
Wait a minute, I'm going to say something you may have never heard before, but you have professional integrity.
I've never heard that before. Thanks.
I was going to say.
That's kind of nice.
No, but I mean, you have to do your job.
Yeah.
You may love Matt LeBlanc, but he's out there. He's in the public eye. People want to know.
Well, it never ceases to amaze me that people that really come into this business seem to be constantly surprised that if you become a really big star on television, people want to know about what your private life is.
Right.
It's not like been a well-kept secret that this is going to happen.
Like Matthew Perry. People needed to know that Julia Roberts and Matthew Perry were living together, and they were going to meet Matthew's mama.
Why actually people want to know that?
I'm not sure that they do. I think you think they want to know that. They may not need to know that.
I don't think that.
You don't?
Sometimes we have, one more story on Julia Roberts, and I go into the big boss, Ron Vander, and I say, God, can people still be possibly interested about anything having to do with Julia Roberts? And he goes, well, the last time we ran a story on her, it popped a big number.
Okay.
And so that's why they run another story
Now,
on Julia Roberts.
be candid. When you guys have these meetings about potential stories, do you ever talk about putting a contract out on a big celebrity just to make a story out of it?
No, but
You didn't have anything to do with Ava Gabor's death, did you? Or was that Zsa Zsa?
Is she dead?
One of the Gabor. Ava died. You didn't put her out,
I'm
did
really
you?
sorry to hear that. No.
I'm saying, because if you need a story.
Ava is not exactly, she was a sweet woman. I remember I met her one time over at Roddy McDowell's, and she was a really interesting, sweet woman. But she's not on the A list,
Oh, certainly not anymore.
This decade,
she's shoveling coal in hell at this point. All right, Barry. We could go on forever here, but we're gonna get back to the phones because I always hear the voice of producer Ann in my psyche saying, "Get to the phones. Get to
Help
what
people.
made this show spectacular." Yes,
raison d'etre.
Steve.
Yes.
You're on LoveLine.
Hi, how you doing?
Hi, good.
I kind of got a weird situation. I was set up with a girl by her mom, and the kind of situation was she was just getting out of a 1.5-year relationship.
Jewish lady?
No.
No, okay.
No, not that I know of.
All right, usually when moms do that, they're Jewish moms, but that's okay. Continue.
Yeah, her mom just really liked me and stuff, and thought I was a great guy. So we ended up going out a few times or whatever, and then all of a sudden I was more or less told to back off. And
Italian mom?
You were told by whom?
Well, it was kind of a situation where, I don't know, she doesn't want to, she's not, I don't know what I want to say.
I'm going to kick you like a jukebox that's skipping, Steve.
Yeah.
Steve, did the mom tell you to back off?
Yeah, she did. After, it was kind of like she didn't want to.
This wasn't Matthew Perry's mom, was it? That's a whole nother story. So she sets you up with her daughter.
Right.
She giveth, and then she taketh away.
Well, she just kind of told me to back off a little bit.
Well, she toldeth you to get the hell out of Denvereth, right?
Kind of.
Wow. Why? Because do you think the daughter? Do you think she approached her mom and told her that?
Were you stalking her or something, Steve?
No, nothing like that.
Always looking for the story, aren't you, babe?
Yeah. Were you
like
giving
that.
attention that she didn't want anymore? Did the mom catch you in flagrante delicto, or?
No, nothing like that.
I think I'm going to try that this weekend, but I'm not.
That's naked.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, hell, I did that earlier today. Steve, how long a period of time did you go out with her daughter?
Well, it was about a month.
And you're into her daughter.
I like her a lot.
And how old are you?
I'm 28.
28.
So there's no apparent reason that you can see that the mother would have any basis for saying back off.
No, because everybody, I mean...
All right, it is none of mom's business. You're 28. Barry was on his 5th divorce by the time he was 28. Do you understand that? He killed people in Nam by 28. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're a man. You're an adult.
What does the daughter say to you?
Well, we still talk, like we're friends, and I've asked her out before, and she just says she's busy and stuff like that.
Okay, Steve, here's what's going on.
Okay.
The daughter is not interested.
Mm-hmm.
If the daughter, and I hate...
And has passed it on to the mom.
Yes, I hate to drop this on you, but if the daughter had a real interest in you, and how old is she?
She's 24, I
She's
think.
24. She's an adult. She's perfectly capable of making her own decisions. If she was really interested in you, her mom could be damned. She would not care.
Mm-hmm.
She would be in your arms.
Right.
Am I right, Barry?
I think you might consider asking the mom out.
How old's the mom?
Oh, I don't even know.
Steve.
But yeah, she comes into my work and sees me every so often.
Steve.
Mm-hmm.
This is cruel reality.
Right.
It is not the mom that is your problem.
It's time to move on.
It is her. It is time to move on.
Right.
Hopefully, you can find someone whose parents either live out of town or deceased.
But the good news is you make such a nice first impression that this woman's mom would want to introduce you to the daughter, so you have social skills, you present a good first impression, so you're going to do well.
Right, but the flip side is he then shows a side of him that is almost maniacal. I'm just guessing here. But the point is he does something to turn him off in a hurry, because not many moms like you enough to set you up and then double back and pry you away from their daughters.
So you're telling Steve he's looking at a life of first dates.
A life of first dates. And we'll be back with Barry's first date after this.
Call LoveLine, 1-800-LOVE-191. LoveLine. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Damon.
I'm Dave. I'm Graham.
And we are collectively Blur, and you're listening to LoveLine with Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew.
Favorite.
All right, Mike, take the Blur card out of wherever. I want you to physically destroy it. Thank you. Yes. We lost half our listeners just on that 30-second thing. My God. Those guys. I'm sure they're fine if you get them, if you catch them while they're receiving oral sex in drunk. But in terms of, they're like a sedative, those guys. I don't know whether to sleep, cry, or kill myself. They're nothing like you, Barry.
Well, thanks.
They're banned. Just play music. You're a talker. You don't play an instrument, do you?
No, I don't even do the kazoo.
Thank good. Is that what you're calling it these? Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. No, I'm hip. No, you're really talking about playing the kazoo.
Yeah, the kazoo.
Okay, now that's the voice of Barry Nolan. You know him from Hard Copy. Okay, Mike. Yes, we're on our game. Let me get the phone number out for LoveLine. 1-800-LOVE-191, 1-800-568-3191. Fax number 310-854-4455. And when we left off, we were talking about Barry putting a contract out on Ava Gabor and actually having her killed.
I thought about doing writing a script for a movie of the week based on the great tabloid reporters like the Steve Dunleavys of this world.
Oh,
such
sure.
Great characters. And the competition for those stories that used to go on, I remember when all the shows were down in Palm Beach covering some Roxanne Pulitzer nonsense.
Right.
And the kind of dirty tricks that they would pull on each other, just in part to entertain themselves and in part to get an edge in the competition, doing things like I know somebody who would, when Steve Dunleavy was in town, they'd see him in a bar, because you always meet in bars doing those stories. And I go, Steve, how are you? Where are you staying? Staying at the Breakers, mate. He said, how are you? I said, fine. Excuse me, I got to go make a phone call. And my friend that told me the story would go to the payphone and call up the Breakers and say, I'm Steve Dunleavy's assistant. I've been called away out of town. Could you please have the bellman pack all my stuff and check me out of the room and leave it down at the bell office? And you can give my room away because I won't be needing it.
Really?
They do that to
It's a
each other.
cutthroat business.
Oh, God, yes.
Because you have to get on it first, right? I mean, you have to break a lot of these stories.
There's people that would crawl over broken glass and eat live bees to get the edge on the story.
And now, do you guys do a lot of subcontracting? I mean, do you have people out there taking pictures, getting stories, and you're paying them like piecework?
Oh, well, basically, nowadays, a great deal of the sort of interesting celebrity stuff is the result of these sort of freelance paparazzi guys that grab their 8mm camera and live in front of, the Viper Room.
So you don't have guys that specifically work for Hard Copy, per se, but they'll sell it to the highest bidder.
They get interesting video, and they have the rights to the video, and they say, you want to see this fascinating video of Julia Roberts
talking to Matthew Perry's
talking
mom.
To Matthew,
that's got to be worth at least $5.
And petting his dog, that's another $5.
Right.
So they will let you have the rights to a couple of showings of that video.
Now, do you need to substantiate these stories beforehand?
Oh God, yeah. They have. We have a lawyer on staff who sweats bullets every day. This really nice guy named Adam, and he has to hold all the reporters' feet to the fire and see that you have a reasonable source for that. When the sort of celebrity stuff, I think there's probably a looser criteria for exactly how right you get it. But when Diane and Doug cover, Doug Bruckner, who works for us,
right.
When they cover the big stories, Michael Jackson story or the O.J. Simpson stories, there are if they tell you that and Adam, the lawyer, passes on it, you can take it to the bank.
Wow, there's a smart guy named Adam?
There's a smart, yes, there's one smart guy.
I still haven't gotten past that.
One smart guy.
He went to college and stuff?
Yeah, law school.
Holy mackerel. I can get rid of that.
Okay, Matt.
All righty then. Bruce.
Yeah, how you doing?
Good.
All right. First I want to say hi to Dr. Drew.
Hey, Bruce.
Barry.
Hey, Bruce.
And, I loved all the Amy Fisher stories.
Amy Fisher probably is going to have some really interesting stories when she gets out of prison, too.
True inspiration.
What's going on?
All right. I got a question first for Dr. Drew.
Yeah.
I was diagnosed a couple years ago as having hepatitis C.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, I want to first know, is that a death sentence?
Not necessarily.
The treatment with alpha interferon.
You're getting interferon now?
Not yet. I want to know. I'm kind of researching the side effects on that.
Well, here's the deal. So you have chronic hepatitis C.
Yes.
Were you an IV drug addict?
No.
How'd you get it?
Through blood work. Through basically getting blood products back in 1984.
Why were you getting transfused?
I was having a long story, but I was getting bone marrow and some surgery done through my spine, and they had given me plasma.
All right.
And so you got contaminated blood.
Right, which is real common. I mean, when people get hepatitis from transfusions today, that's basically hepatitis C. About 60% of hepatitis C becomes chronic. About half of those will progress to cirrhosis, and about 10 or 20% of those can get cancer of the liver.
So this attacks the liver, this hepatitis.
Hepatitis means inflammation of the liver, and this is viral hepatitis.
Don't give me that puss. I know that, but there's people that don't. Wow.
He's drawing you out.
Yeah,
he's got such a high horse he's on.
Sorry. I've got to climb back up on it tonight after being so roundly
you missed a good
last
time.
night.
We had Drew's wife in last time, and we basically
destroyed
Drew
me.
and quartered Dr. Drew
basically.
in front of God and everyone.
Yeah.
If I died on the way home, it would have been a fulfilling life. But okay, Bruce, let's get down. Let's get
you
back.
You guys have bonded in this job.
Yeah, well,
yes,
we had a bond.
We both hate each other. We agree on that.
Exactly. In any event, so you now have chronic hepatitis C. What you want to do is prevent that from progressing to the more serious complications like cirrhosis. And absolutely, I would take advantage of the treatments that are out there. Interferon is one of the treatments. There are multiple treatments being investigated. The damage that's done to the liver from hepatitis C appears to be the result of the viral activity. So if you suppress the virus, you suppress the damage. It's a little different with hepatitis B, where there seems to be sort of an immune-mediated reaction to the virus. So go after it. Definitely, absolutely, no doubt about it. If you have chronic hepatitis C, you can really do well with the treatments.
Barry?
Is he going to be a liver
transplant candidate
later down?
Well, if he progresses, yeah. I mean, I have a patient right now who's on deck for a liver.
And we got to wait for some alcoholic celebrities to get theirs first, naturally, so that folks like Bruce, who got it the honest way through a blood transfusion, you know what I'm saying? What is that?
I wondered that myself. I don't know.
You wonder?
I'm curious. My patients queue up for years for liver, and old Mickey Mouse seemed to come up with them pretty quick in some rather spurious circumstances.
Now, when you're waiting for a liver, do you have to actually be at the hospital waiting, even if it's years?
Well, no. But if your liver fails,
I was kidding.
All right. Okay.
But remember, there's all kinds of ways that you can increase your chances of getting the liver.
Yeah, I don't know.
Remember the Jamie Fisk?
Yeah.
Remember the father who went on television and in a press conference did this great emotional plea.
So you can get
for
sort
his
of
little daughter, Jamie Fisk.
You can get sort of a donor-directed liver. Somebody says, I want to donate this liver to this person. Right?
And she was a lovely little girl, and the appeal worked. And she basically jumped up way ahead in the waiting line for a liver. Got the liver, and she's happy and healthy and thriving today. So there's all kinds of ways, if you get really motivated, you can become a movie star before you need the transplant, or you can really make a high-profile effort to move yourself up the line.
Yeah, if I ever get cirrhosis,
but
I'm
it's
going,
at the expense of others.
I'm going right into the porn industry and make myself a name. Now, you have yourself a vehicle in case you or any of your family members.
That's why I went into this.
And that's why you drink so heavily without a care.
I'm anticipating the need for multiple organs, and so that's why I went into the business.
Now, I want to talk about this for just one more minute, because how many, a lot of people do not have the donor stickers on their their licenses.
Right.
I have an idea for this, by the way. I think you the sticker, instead of just that little round donor, that pink, it should be the shape of the organ that you want to donate.
Right.
Like you could have like your intestines.
Right, heart or liver.
Could go all the way around.
Make it frame the license, you mean? A nice border. A border
no,
around
I'm
the
saying
license.
make the sticker the shape of a liver, the shape of like a lung.
Yeah.
I'm going to donate my brain.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
to a women's soccer team in Valencia. All right, real fast. Let's go back to the phones. Vanessa.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm 16 years old, and I was wondering the average age of a teenage girl to lose her virginity.
35.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's old.
Yeah, you got like 20 years.
I don't want to wait that long.
You could shave it down to 15 if there's certain manuals that you need to study.
Uh-huh.
You heard of the pop-up Kama Sutra?
No.
Is there a question there?
I think that was more of a statement. And by the way, I wish someone would make that statement about me once in a while. Her boyfriend's penis size scared the bejesus out of her, and now you're scared to have sex with the guy. But you're too young anyway.
Right.
I think a lot of people would feel that if you're too young for intercourse, you might even be too young for oral sex.
Right. But in this day and age, where the title is king, just maintaining your virginity. I mean, you could have anal sex.
Yeah, there's a strange thing going on culturally.
And blow an entire softball team and still maintain your virtue if you were technically a virgin.
You had an intact hymen. That's all that counts.
Is that the case, caller, with your friends, that if you...
We let her go.
Oh, we did?
She's off to her boyfriend's
I heard
house.
some data came out last night that suggested the average male age of losing virginity was 17.
Males seem to lose it later than females.
Yes. But there's a 4-year gap between the average age at which males lose their virginity and the average age at which they claim
right. And if you're like me, a 6-year gap between the time you actually lose your virginity and then the actual time you see another woman naked. I was like, I lost it when I was 16 and had to wait till I was 28 before I actually got to grope another breast.
But listen,
a painful memory.
You should call LoveLine. 1-800-LOVE-191. Hello, LoveLine. LoveLine will be right back.
We have our own little memorable jingles here, Barry. The Barry I speak of is Barry Nolan of Hard Copy. Now you know who he is.
Love that ball.
CBS, doing quite well, the show?
Yeah, the show continues to do well in the ratings. It's one of the most successful syndicated shows going, and I gather we're going to have stiff competition in the future.
Oh, yes. We have a little TV show of our own that will be coming out, but I'm sure we'll be on in different time slots, so we should be okay. We won't whoop your butt immediately until they
Thank you for
shift
taking it easy.
But you will have a grand time chasing down Adam's past and his present escapades.
Oh, that's right.
We have a whole caught on tape series ready.
Oh, I have no doubt.
Adam.
I have no doubt.
Now, we can also use some of the material that you, this faxed material that you just got.
Fascinating. And a good segue. We got something from, what publication is this, Ann?
Men's Health.
Men's Health. Oh, you got a mind like a steel trap. This basically breaks down the penis. I'm going to give you some numbers here.
You got to imagine how painful that could be.
Breaking down the penis. Average length and diameter, flaccid. And for those of you who missed that day in biology, that is when your grandmother comes over. That's when your penis is at its most flaccid. That means drooping like a curtain. 3.5, so that's 3.5 inches flaccid, and that's what I call the gym dick, by the way, which I have a nice one of. I only wish it got larger when I was out of the gym.
You mean Jim GYM?
Right. When I'm walking around the gym, I'm not one of these guys that wraps a towel around me. You know what I mean? Because I'm not ashamed. I'll walk around and I look good. I'll go out and pump a little iron, dude. Of course, I'll put the towel down, you know. But it just doesn't get a whole lot bigger. That's the problem. 1.25 inches in circumference, or sorry, not circumference. That would be around it, but diameter. That is just the width of it. So that's 1.25 inches width by 3.5 inches flaccid. Average length and diameter erect. Now, get ready because this is some good news. Mike, get some kind of music ready for this. Average length of a penis erect. 5.1 inches. I was telling Barry during the commercial that in a few weeks it's going to get into the 4s.
Now, where does, Dr. Drew, the concept of average being somewhere around 6 inches come from? And was that something put out to make us all feel...
I don't know.
It's been around
but as you know, you can collect
time.
that many different ways. And I don't know how this was collected either. So
I'm thinking through the mail.
I don't know, but I'm sure that a great excessive healthcare dollars were spent investigating relevant material, important stuff like this. I'm glad we're spending a lot of airtime at
Drew,
it too.
Hey, look, there goes your high horse. There, go get on it. Get on your high horse over there, Mr. Trojan man, and let us finish the entertaining part of this show. 1.6 inches in width when it's erect. So, interestingly enough, you only gain about a 1/4 inch between flaccid and erect on the width department, but you do gain a considerable amount in length. Average percent increase in volume of blood, I guess, 300%, or not in blood, just 300% larger. Longest medically recorded erection. God, I wish my name was on that. 12 inches. Whoa. Yes, that's right. Average erection per night, 5. That's pretty good. That's when you're sleeping. Average duration of each nocturnal erection, 20 to 30 minutes. Okay.
5 times 20 to 30 minutes. That's about 100 minutes.
So you just have
25 minutes.
Wait a minute.
20 minutes per?
20 to 30 minutes is the average erection time.
Yeah.
And you're having, right, well, Barry did the math. So you just have a perpetual boner. That's got to kill a lot of guys.
No wonder you wake up tired some mornings.
Right, and horny.
Magic wand makes my penis grow.
And the last one, estimated replacement value. As if you could put a dollar amount on the replacement value. Like you're going to get into some kind of bartering with the doctor. Not a penny over 40,000. You charlatan. $50,000. And apparently this means as if it was cut off like John Wayne Bobbitt. And Drew, you're seeing this estimated replacement value. And like I said, I think you would be in
I wonder if that's in insurance terms or something.
Now, you've got to wonder, though, too, that if they say estimated replacement value, $50,000, that would seem to imply that there's some range. So if someone were to come to you and say, I can save you a lot of money on this,
well, it's like when you
there's some shortcuts.
Let me reassure you guys, if it's gone, it's gone.
No, but what about John Wayne Bobbitt?
That's not a replacement. That's a reattachment.
It's an unusual
I think
case.
what this refers to is if you have a disability claim, this is what you get for it.
No, I think
that's it.
I think it says estimate. Yeah.
Adam, stop dreaming.
No, you go out like when you ding up your car. You call the insurance company. You have to take it to a few body shops. You get a couple of estimates, and then you bring back the highest one, the place that looks the best. I think this is the same. We're going to look into that, Drew. But now we're going back to the phones. Rachel.
Hello.
You're on LoveLine.
Hi. I'm 14, and I've been smoking for about a year. What are my chances of getting cancer or anything like that?
It depends how long you smoke for.
At this point, if you've just smoked for a year and you quit now, your chances of getting cancer would be reduced.
Yeah, really,
to
really low.
I haven't quit.
Whatever.
The problem with young teenagers is that the ones that begin smoking at your age tend to smoke for a long, long time, at least 20 years, perhaps more.
Yeah, they have these statistics that say that people, virtually no one gets started after 20 or 21, right?
It's sort of a new trend. I've seen a fair amount of that, but yeah, for the most part, if you're going to start, it's as a young adult or teenager.
One of the things you look at is the chances of getting cancer are enormously increased, but there's other things that are an absolute certainty. You're going to have more bronchial infections. You're going to spend more time coughing. Your voice is going to sound lower. Your skin will age. You will, if you've ever been on these cruise ships.
You're talking about Marge Schott.
Yes. If you've ever looked at, you go on cruise ships where I'd go out for these TV shows, and you can tell the older women who have spent a lifetime smoking because there's a loss of elasticity and smoothness to the skin that is very unattractive, and you're going to smell bad. Your hair's going to smell. Your clothes are going to smell. Those things are certainties.
You're going to sound like Newt Gingrich's mom.
You're going to be one of those people on the cruise ship with blue hair, kind of overweight, and going, Harry, look at the butter sculpture.
And that's at 19.
And yeah,
here's some more stuff. You get osteoporosis. You get heart disease. It's sort of 50 pack years. We multiply the number of packs per day times the number of years smoked, and 50 pack years is a cutoff after which you really see a lot of lung cancer.
But, fellas, when you weigh that against looking cool in front of the mall, I think it's a small price to pay.
Also, cigarette is the gateway drug. Marijuana is the gateway illicit drug, but nicotine is the gateway drug to other substances.
You know why I stopped smoking a long time ago? Because I stopped smoking because it made me feel so stupid. Because I knew all the evidence against it, and every time I smoked, maybe half a pack a day, so it was fairly easy to give up. But just knowing all the evidence against it, and the certainty that the tobacco companies know what they're doing, and that they're hooking you on purpose, knowing all that and continuing to smoke made me just feel dumb.
Right, I smoke about somewhere between 5 and 8 cigarettes a day, and I hide now because I'm scared that I'm gonna get
confronted
and laughed at or something.
Yeah,
I mean,
you feel dumb.
Yeah, you do, because now you know. I mean, in the old days, a guy'd be smoking Chesterfields while he was being, on the Jack Parr show, being interviewed by Jack Parr, or while they were in the, on television. Everyone smoked.
Cameron Swayze, when he did the Camel News Caravan.
Guys.
Part of one of the early network news broadcasts, the tobacco company sponsored it, and one of the agreements for their sponsorship was that John Cameron Swayze would always have a lit cigarette on the set.
Wow.
And so they've been working at getting people to smoke for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
They used to believe there were health benefits to smoking. Are you aware of that? Physicians used to prescribe smoked cigarettes. You need some energy? Here's a good way to do it.
Yeah. So, anyway, things have changed. Try to give it up. You haven't been hooked for too long.
And think of those old ladies looking at the butter sculpture on the cruise ships, and you don't want to look like that.
Wayne.
Yeah.
You're on LoveLine.
Thanks. How's it going?
Good.
I'd like to say, Dr. Drew, your wife sounded pretty good last night.
She certainly did.
Stop reminding me about last night.
Wayne, you have a question?
Yeah, I actually have two questions. Well, I've been on I've had ADHD all my life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and they had me on Prozac for a while, and made me actually very violent. And now they got me on Wellbutrin, and it's kind of making me kind of happy, kind of lack of energy.
So you had a lot of mood problems with your
right?
ADHD.
I have some of those. I don't want to do this, but
for some people that aren't following this, ADHD is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder.
Oh, I was trying to figure out what the H was. I knew what the ADD part was.
I believe it's adult deficit disorder or something like that.
Attention deficit.
What the H stands for.
Right.
Hyperactive.
So basically, you got a lot of energy and you can't pay attention.
Yeah, that's basically it.
All right.
And I was wondering, is there any other thing that they're giving out for this kind of?
Yeah, lots and lots and lots of treatments out there. I mean, they're even using clonidine patches, and you should talk. There are people that specialize just in the treatment of ADD, ADHD right now.
The most commonly prescribed medication is probably Ritalin.
The stimulants, yeah.
Which it acts as a stimulant in most people, but oddly enough, in people with hyperactivity, the stimulant can cause them to calm down and find it easier to pay attention. But there's tremendous variation in the way people react to all these medications.
Yeah. And it's a pretty popular diagnosis. Like any time that you see people getting a label, lots of people receiving a label, there's a good chance it's being overused.
Are there people that are lethargic and can't pay attention?
That's depression.
No, that's a postal worker.
Hello, this is my dog. His name's Dave. Sit, stay, roll over, roll, no, Dave, no.
LoveLine will be right back. Stay.
Hey, this is Adam Carolla, and whenever I'm in town, I listen to LoveLine on the phone number, 1-800-LOVE-191, 1-800-568-3191, the fax number, 310-854-4455. This is the show they call LoveLine. He is the doctor they call Dr. Drew because he's a board-certified physician and addiction medicine specialist and not one of these stupid love doctors.
Thank you.
BS degrees, everyone wearing a frickin' nightie. Everyone's an expert these days, and I'd be interested in Barry.
Yes, sir.
That's Barry Nolan. He now is going to do my bidding.
What?
I decided this while I was taking a piss.
I'm your radio slave, yes.
I looked down in the urinal, I said, Barry will do my bidding. Because you have a team of investigators, of photographers, of reporters. Yeah. I want you to investigate some of these people that call themselves doctors who are making all these. Have you guys done something like this? They're making tons of money selling books, selling cassettes, doing seminars. They're up there basically telling you things that you already know.
Well, I actually did a really interesting investigative piece that busted some sex experts. You know those better sex tapes? You've seen them advertised in Playboy magazine. See them every place. When those tapes first came out, they advertised they had a couple that were sex therapists as the experts in the tape. And it turns out that this couple had set themselves up as sex therapists down in Florida, and they also became involved in the court system down there as in the guardian ad litem program, where they are experts that come in when there's a custody battle, and the mom wants the kids, the dad wants the kids, so they bring in an outside expert who the court trusts their opinion and trusts their judgment, and they interview all parties concerned, and the experts come in and talk to the court and give their advice. And it turns out that these people who were involved in having their judgment trusted weren't in fact what they purported to be. The degrees that they said they had were actually from a mail order degree program,
Hollywood Upstairs Medical College,
and that they didn't even finish the mail order program.
Wait, speaking of finish, we're gonna break for 10, and then we're gonna come back, and Barry, you're gonna finish this story.
This is LoveLine on
radio station.
Years ago.
All right, now we're back with Barry Nolan. Let me give the phone number. Let me reset real quickly here. I'm Adam Carolla, Dr. Drew. Phone number 1-800-LOVE-191. And Barry, before I so rudely cut him off, was in the middle of talking about one of his crack investigations.
So we are talking to these people that are the sex experts, but also are involved in the court program to help adjudicate child custody cases.
Jesus.
And the court is depending on these people to have good judgment. Well, these people have claimed to have received a PhD from this mail order, diploma mill, and they didn't even finish the mail order work. And I'm doing this interview with this guy who he won't allow the cameras in. And I said, well, what led you? He says, well, actually, I thought I'd finished all the work. I thought I'd done everything. We assumed we'd graduate. I said, well, what made you actually think that you'd finished it? He says, well, I mean, we graduated. We went through the ceremony. We rented our caps and gowns. And I called the mail-order diploma mill. And
They don't have that.
They don't have a graduation ceremony. What are you going to do, show up at the post office? And it turns out that these people also were active members at this local swingers club. And, he'd lied about his bust for marijuana and stuff. And, it's one thing to smoke marijuana or to have an unactive sexual life, but to string all these things together and to be somebody that the court relies on for your sober judgment in something that is the most delicate kind of negotiation. Boy, they deserve to be busted. And when I busted these guys, and when the story aired, the wife called me up the next day and said, it's terrible what you've done to my husband, Fred. He saw that story, and if he commits suicide, it'll be your fault. And I thought, well, more demonstration of his sound judgment.
Yes, it was pathology.
He should send away for a sanity degree.
Yeah, you can get him to the mail.
Oh yeah, I got a windbreaker that says I'm certified as sane. I wear it proudly on the weekend.
The thing I learned is that it's never a bad idea if you're involved in any kind of confrontation like that through the court or with a doctor or what. It's never a bad idea to really look into the background or certification of people that come up as experts.
Anybody that I deal with in my professional life who is worth a damn would be happy to talk to you about their training.
Yeah.
Nobody ever asks that because nobody really understands what that even is.
And people feel it's a little. They think it's insulting to ask somebody about their background.
You'd be more than happy to talk about your level of training, your certification, where you've been, where you trained, and I have no problem with that ever.
And it's
wants to talk
very
about that.
easy to call if you say you graduated from Yale. You can call the registrar at Yale and confirm whether or not the person graduated when they claimed they did.
All right. So, like the devil, I am going to command you to do my bidding to weed out these flim-flam artists, these snake oil peddlers, and to get these people off the air because we have a real doctor here.
And he's very good.
And he's a certified doctor, and I believe
now, you don't even know what that means, though. That's
just shut up, I'm going.
Right.
The point is, there goes the horse, get on the horse. the thing is it sort of, it degrades his...
Right.
His
believe me, it does.
Position, because we get a lot of people going, yeah, it's Drew the Love Doctor or something. And he's not wearing a negligee all the time. That's what I'm saying. Dan,
would you let him operate on you?
I'll let him do it right now. He checked me for a hernia the other day.
Is there something we could...
and let me ask you, I'm no doctor, but do you have to put your thumb in the guy's ass to check for a hernia? That didn't gel well. God forbid I was going to say anything. Dan, you're on the LoveLine.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
I went out with this girl for 2.5 years, and then we broke up because she was like cheating on me and stuff.
Yes.
And ever since then, I can't be with anyone else because I think about her.
How long ago was that?
2.5 years.
6 months.
6 months ago, you broke up.
Dan went out for 2.5 years. She cheated on him. They broke up 6 months ago, and he's still
can't be
immersed in that.
By the way, the average duration of sort of grief,
5.1 inches,
6 months.
Oh, right,
that
right.
somebody goes through after a breakup is about 6 months. So it takes about that long to get over the loss of a relationship if you really are involved with someone.
And the older you get,
the shorter that period gets. It's an average duration.
When I killed my first man, I really couldn't sleep that night. For weeks, I couldn't sleep. Now, it's nothing. Do you know what I'm saying, Barry?
What kind of social activities have you been engaged in the past couple of months or so?
Since I broke up with my girlfriend, I've been with like 4 other girls.
You've been with in an intimate sense, you mean?
Yeah. But I can't. I'm sorry. She's got my heart in a jar on her bed.
Can you go to her place and get it back?
I don't know. I've tried.
Oh, he wasn't being lit. That was a figurative thing he said. Dan, I have been through this. And Drew has been through this.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say Barry has too, and not even care if he's been through it or not.
I've been through it.
All right. We know what it's like, and especially at that tender age of 18,
right,
which Dan is, it feels like the end of the world.
I think sucking chest wound brings to mind the right thing.
Right.
Yes. And thank God you had the sensibility not to say sucking something else. I had no idea. I heard sucking. I was like, yes.
Then you really sound genuinely depressed. I mean, just listening to your voice, I mean, you sound almost vegetative in the quality of what's going on with you. I mean, I'm glad to hear that you're able to go out and socialize. I think that's what Barry is getting at, that you're able to go out there and try to re-engage. And the probability is you're going to get over this. So long as you're able to continue to find enjoyment in things in life and pursue productive things, this will end eventually. If it doesn't, that's the time to begin to seek some professional help, perhaps, because depressions in your age can become rather profound at times. And they get kind of dangerous, too, particularly young males that age. They have an amazing propensity to plan out and complete suicide.
To be
It's
perseverant
unbelievable.
in their ideation, to be thinking
Right,
constantly
you're losing the
about
audience
same
again
thing.
with the ideation, the perseverant part.
But Dr. Drew's statement about that a typical time is 6 months should be comfort to him to know that it really is normal to be this bummed this long, but it does end.
Right, although he could be the one screwing up the curve. He could be at the 2-year mark. Kevin.
Yeah.
But if he is, he needs to get help.
No, he'll be fine. It will pass. It is one of these things. There's no advice. There's no miracle cure.
Especially
There's
the first.
nothing.
It sounds like that was the
just-
first one too.
Right. It just will pass, and then you will run into her at a mall 9 years from now. She'll be 40 pounds overweight and have 9 kids, and you'll look at her and you go, "Oh Christ, what was I thinking?" Kevin.
Yeah.
You're on LoveLine.
Hi.
Hi.
I got a question for Dr. Drew.
Yeah.
Me and my girlfriend, we eventually plan to have a baby,
Mm-hmm.
and she's got her tubes tied.
Right.
And I was wondering if there's any way, you can go to a fertility clinic or she can be inseminated or anything.
Do you know what kind of procedure she had done?
She said, at first I think she said they were cut. I don't know if they cut
Well,
them.
often they cut them, tie them, and burn them. And if all that was done, what's that?
Is that what they do?
Well, that's.
Why don't they just sew your crotch shut?
I suppose they could do that too.
My God, they cut them.
Knowing because they recannulate, they grow back really easily.
The reason you have the operation done is you really don't want to have more children,
and they grow
No
back.
kidding.
and they want to be careful about it.
No, it's amazing how
Well,
frequently
they don't
grow
want to
back.
get. They don't want to get sued. Is what they don't
No,
want
they
to get.
grow back, Adam.
Yeah.
For Christ's sake. And but the
Oh,
fact
there
is,
goes the horse.
all right,
There goes
Kevin,
wildfire.
Given that we don't know exactly what the procedure was, it's possible that it could be surgically repaired. Also, you got to remember that this day and age, you can do things like in vitro fertilization, this kind of stuff. There are lots of fertility tubes.
How old is she?
You don't have to have functioning tubes to have a pregnancy. Okay.
How old is your girlfriend?
That's what I was wondering.
How old is she, Kevin?
She's 28.
28.
Yeah.
That mean anything to you, Barry?
Huh?
Barry's
No,
looking like he had
that's
her.
kind of young to have had your tubes tied, and
Well,
but
she's
it
got a couple kids already.
okay, but it also means she's really healthy, and so you have a lot of options ahead of you.
Yeah.
They get kind of expensive, and there's a lot of controversy. You guys ever run into those fertility stories?
No, we have run stories about
the
the
Irvine thing.
very low rate of success with many of the.
No ratings there.
See,
though.
I get kind of upset at those because we're a success story in a fertility campaign. We have triplets, and I send lots of patients to those clinics, and most do fine. I mean,
Nobody wants to hear about the success, though.
Well, now that they are starting a new procedure where when you go to a fertility clinic, and in some places you are told how much it's going to be, and if you don't achieve success after 3 tries, they refund the bulk of the money. I mean, you end up paying something like $800 or $1,000, but it's not a $25,000 procedure for which you eventually have nothing to show.
And you get an ovary-shaped keychain, too, in a lot of places. and a bucket of chicken.
We can just add an ovary sticker to your license.
And let me ask you something. This question here, Dr. Drew.
Yeah.
Her fallopian tubes is that
Right.
the tubes?
That's the tubes, yeah.
Right now, all right. So I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm saying, shouldn't you be able to pick up some fallopian tubing somewhere else and reconnect it? I mean, is there some sort of
Like from somebody
government
else?
warehouse? We know how they stockpile cheese. I'm saying, is there some pier somewhere? Refrigerated. I'm no dummy, but I'm saying, could you go, take a few lineal feet of fallopian tubing?
He actually has an interesting point. They certainly do have artificial
Everything
arteries
else.
and
Yeah.
veins that they can insert in places now. Why wouldn't they have
What
artificial
animal?
tubes?
What animal
that-
mirrors the human, like a sheep or something?
No,
you know,
look,
they
you don't,
say
you don't want to put
the uterus of the
no,
sheep.
You don't want to put tissue in, but I don't know for a fact what the surgical options are. I'm not a gynecologist. There may well be a lot of stuff out there.
I bet you wish you went that direction, though, don't you?
No.
Oh, okay. I just had to try to get that
You
out
got
of
really
Drew.
weird calls.
For a while, I
kidding.
thought I was going to be a gynecologist, frankly.
Really, me too. I looked at so much pornography before I was 16. I actually got a degree bestowed upon me. No one knows more about the female anatomy than Adam Carolla. Robert.
Hi.
Hey, you're on LoveLine.
I have a question about vasectomies.
Hey, wait a minute. We got to get Mike.
Oh, yeah.
Engineer Mike, the expert on vasectomies, who's sitting there.
Self-proclaimed expert, yeah.
Yes.
I understand that they're reversible.
Some of them, and sometimes.
You got to turn your nuts inside out?
Well, I'm just not interested in having a
One
child
side's
quite
plaid.
yet.
Robert, I would suggest that if you are not interested in permanently altering your fertility, you wouldn't do this.
How old are you, Robert?
I'm 20.
All right, now that seems
Wear
young.
wear a condom.
Now, wait, let's talk to Engineer Mike for just a second, because he recently, as those of you who listen to this show regularly know, had this procedure performed on him. And now, Mike, you're 28, correct?
28, yeah.
And you had to go through a screening process, correct?
Yeah, I went through a screening process, and in fact, my doctor told me that he wouldn't recommend me doing it. He thought I was still too young, and I'm 28.
Was this a whole HMO thing where they're trying to save a few bucks?
That was it, yeah.
You think so?
That was part of it, I think. But
Are you married?
Am I married? No.
Yeah. Children? No.
No.
Gay guy?
No.
Okay.
Why would a gay man need a vasectomy?
I had to ask.
One of the things that any doctor is likely to tell you is if you have never been married, have never had children at the age of 28 and until you get into your 30s, you were probably a little bit... it's kind of early to be making the decision, I will never have children.
Yeah, it's not as though this is a simple spigot you can insert, like you would in your house plumbing. This is a real surgery, and it's meant to prevent pregnancy and not to be something that transient put in place as a means of contraception.
Let me ask.
I was wondering about the reversal process as well.
From what they told me, the longer it's been since you had it done, the less chance there is of it being reversible.
That's true, and reversibility is not guaranteed.
Voice of Engineer Mike.
Okay.
Played by Engineer Mike.
But I'm also kind of counting on the progression of technology. That
Robert.
Mhm.
And then a meteor is going to hit the planet soon, too, so we really won't have to worry about it.
It's a wash.
Yeah. Wear a condom.
Okay, so you wouldn't recommend it even though the technology by the time that I'll want children will be...
I think that is a long shot.
No,
it's a terrible thing. I don't think any doctor would do it based on that expectation.
That's like sort of planning your life around the expectation of achieving warp speed and being beamed up.
Right. Yeah, it's like going, well, I can smoke 3 packs of Chesterfields a day and drink a 5th of Johnny Walker because
they'll have replacement therapy.
They'll just freeze me when I'm 45, and then it'll be like some bad Woody Allen movie. But here's what I wanted to ask, and there is no bad Woody Allen movie.
I was just thinking the same thing.
I love Woody Allen, but let me just ask you this in terms of fertility.
Although the front wasn't that good.
Okay. Who you, Siskel or Ebert over there? Hey, there goes the horse. Get on the horse, Drew. Let me talk to Barry for a second,
Yeah.
since he and you really, if anything goes on over at Hard Copy, not that you're not doing a fine job, but if contract needs to be renegotiated, they're going to cut you loose or something. You come over here and take Drew's spot.
Do you get to keep the horse?
You get a mule. Because you are a Renaissance man. You know what you are? You're like a spice rack. There's a little something. There's a little something everywhere. A little tarragon, little paprika, little cumin or cumin or whatever they're calling it.
You know what happens if you work in television long enough, you really get obnoxious.
No
because
kidding.
You've done a story on if you've been doing it 15 years or so, you've done a story on nearly everything, and so you know that much about nearly everything. So you go to cocktail parties and people come say. My mother lives in Costa Rica. Costa Rica, interesting country. Their principal export, and name anything, and you know that much, just enough to make yourself obnoxious.
Right.
So
you become a BS artist.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm looking for.
That's what I got my degree in.
Now I want to ask back to the fertility thing for just 1 second. I'm gonna bring Drew back into the fray here for a second. Would a guy like Mike, the engineer, would he like freeze a tube sock or something with some sperm on it? Would they take a sample? Would they do something so that then he's going to get married? And what if his wife wanted to be inseminated at some point? Could they do that?
No.
Why not?
No, could he freeze some sperm? Yes. Yeah, he could do that. Did you do that?
Did you do that, Mike? Why not? I mean, just as a precaution.
Because if you're sure, you're sure. Why would I want to fail say? I'm sure.
How
I
many
don't want
things
kids.
have you be sure of in your life?
How long would it take you to whack off into a Dixie cup, for Christ's sake?
Also,
I just did right there.
It's not a commitment.
How many things in your life have you been certain of, and 10 years later find out it was absolutely not anything to do with how you felt subsequently?
How many people were born Republican?
That's true. And this guy was worshipped L. Ron Hubbard over here for years. He built a small shrine to him, and now he feels like a fool.
Actually, I did think about the freezing thing, but my fiance and I discussed it. If we want to have kids, we'll adopt.
What if your marriage doesn't work out and you want to get a new?
Oh, okay, Drew. Don't examine every possibility of Mike's crappy life.
I'm going to clone my girlfriend.
Okay.
I visited a lab in Singapore where they developed the technology to also freeze eggs. And
for long periods of time.
For long periods of time.
You can do that at a 7-Eleven. Are you talking about
human eggs?
Oh, that's different.
Eggs.
Yes.
And so what's strange is that we begin to have some interesting ethical possibilities down the pike. If you have Adam's frozen sperm and Madonna's frozen eggs, they can be put together without having ever met.
Adam's frozen sperm sounds like a self-serve yogurt.
It's a soft serve, Adam.
It certainly is. Would you like some Jimmy's with that, man? Ouch.
Well, this
right,
state...
so we could... Right.
Now, wait a minute.
You're playing God.
California is working on some legislation to try to prevent any use of this material, of germ cells, without the explicit consent of the
NFL,
the origin, the original owner.
The pirated merchandise is a problem in all creative areas.
Right.
And just imagine what Madonna eggs.
So some guy be on the street selling bootleg Adam sperm. Another guy like shaking it, holding up the light. Wait, they're bumping into each other. This could be the real thing. One of them's napping, the other one's masturbating. Okay.
I can see that's a bargain, Adam's.
Oh, yeah.
Adam's stuff.
Yeah, come on down to Adam's Sperm Shack. We got to move sperm. We're having a parking lot sale. No reasonable offer refused. Some guy, big cowboy
The new
hat.
models are coming in right after the next month's penthouse.
I want you to meet my sperm spot. I could go wing walking. Oh, it could be wild. Well, Barry, on that note,
I like to go out on a high note.
Yeah, you've been such a great guest. Just plug the show just for a moment. Let's talk about hard coffee for just 30 seconds.
We're on here in Los Angeles at 7 o'clock on KCBS.
Right.
And tomorrow night, it's... Geez, I forget what it is.
Matthew Perry's dad meets somebody.
I think they have a puppy. And we'll talk to the puppy, and the puppy's psychic.
And is it on around 7 o'clock around the country, or is it on all different times?
Check your local listings. It's a syndicated show, which means it can be on as early as 4 o'clock in some cities like Boston.
Right.
And, but it's all over. It's I gather in India, it's like appointment television. Go figure.
Really?
Why the people in India would care about Matthew Perry and Julia Roberts. And
why? Because they're barefoot. They're living off a curry. They got nothing. They got cows walking through the street, and they're like praising their movements and things. They got nothing better than Perry over there. I know India. It's all sandals, and they're wearing sheets, and everyone's thin. I'll give them that.
You really summed this up nicely.
Yes. See, I'm a man of the
and
world.
Nobody's too rich.
No.
Is that the way it works?
It's very fair over there. Everyone, let's all be poor together. Okay? Agreed upon. All right. Well, we want to thank Barry Nolan for coming in and being such a sport. Make sure and watch hard copy. If you can't watch it, tape it. And then if you got to fill out one of those Nielsen books, I want you just to paste a picture of Barry in it. That's the kind of ratings I want for you. And we'll be back.
LoveLine. 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 We'll be right back.
Well, Barry was quite a guy. I was sort of, after only seeing his work on TV and stuff, I thought he was going to come in here and we were going to like lock antlers a little and I was going to make fun of the show and he was going to get pissed off and all that. But he had a real good sense of humor.
He's a real ambassador.
And he's a smart guy. And seems to know more about the medical field than you, Drew. All right, he doesn't. 1-800-LOVE-191. I know what I would feel like if someone accused a guest of knowing more about napping or preparing for a nap than I, and I know that hurt.
A pretty low blow.
Yeah, certainly would. 1-800-568-3191. Faxes, 310-854-4455. And it's time to go back to the phones. Chad.
Hey, what's up?
Nothing. You're on LoveLine.
Yeah, I had 2 questions.
Mm-hmm.
The first question was, me and this girl were together, and we got really, really high together.
You say work together?
No, we were together.
You were together, okay.
Yeah, and we got really, really high together, and we sort of slept together, and it seemed like it didn't last as long when I was high.
Mm-hmm.
Is it true that if you smoke weed a lot, that it makes it so it doesn't last as long, or while you're high or something?
You mean... Put the bong down, Drew. I want to answer your question. You mean you achieve orgasm faster?
Yeah, it seems like that.
What it is you just want to hurry up and finish up so you can head to the kitchen and grab yourself like a Pepsi and some Funyuns.
Oh, when you got the munchies or something.
That's what happens. No, most drugs kind of drag it out, don't they?
Most drugs affect something. It's hard to predict how it's going to affect a given individual. This drug probably, would make it less likely to be quick. But for you, it's affecting you differently.
And don't everyone go out and start getting baked before they go to their girlfriend's house thinking that this is going to tack 20 minutes onto it, because there's something called quality that's involved with sex. Guys are very into quantity.
Well,
the size of their penis, the length of the sex, they're not so much into the quality. But let me say this.
But you are representing the male as well in the sense that you are preoccupied with the mechanical aspects rather than the fact that intimacy is an important part of this too.
What was that last word?
Forget it.
Okay. Here's the deal. I totally lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry.
No, it's not your fault. No, here's what I was going to say. Most drugs affect the penis, and here's what happens. They affect the brain, and you don't realize how much of your brain is involved with your penis.
Right.
So they screw up like the control tower, and the Cessna crashes in flames.
Right. Got it, Chad?
Yeah, and I had one more question.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, this other question was like, I had a girlfriend, and she found out that I slept with this other girl, but it happened before I went out with her.
Mm.
And so she gave me this BS line that she said that she doesn't enjoy sex, and I never slept with her, but she has slept with people 3 times before me. And I'm not a virgin, obviously, and she's not. And she told me she doesn't enjoy it. I want to know. I love sex. I think it's great. I don't.
Chad, Earth to Chad. 2 things you must learn about younger women. First off, because they don't like sex does not mean they can't have sex. They oftentimes do have sex and don't enjoy it because guys like you are pressuring them, or they feel like they should be having it and should be enjoying it.
And again, it's a way of achieving some degree of intimacy in a relationship.
Right. He's going to pay attention to me.
Right. And
sure.
If the guy's not there with her emotionally, it is not enjoyable to them.
For at least 5 minutes, he's going to be nice and not watch TV. And number 2, a lot of women don't get into it until later on in life. I mean, I talk to a lot of women that are in their later 20s and early 30s, and they are absolute horn dogs, to use a phrase, at this point in their sexual careers. And if you ask them, hey, when you're in 10th grade, 11th grade, weren't into it.
Right.
They're on a little different clock. It's a very cruel, cruel clock for teenage boys. Melissa,
Yes.
you're on LoveLine.
Hi. My question is, well, recently my husband tried to encourage me into having sexual relations with another woman.
Are you calling from inside a steel drum?
Does it sound like that?
Yeah, what is that sound?
Maybe it's my radio. I'll turn it off.
Wow, that sounded, you know, like like that steel drum they play in Jamaica. It
Yeah.
had a little bit
Yeah.
of that going.
I'm trapped inside one.
Actually, it's better now.
Okay. Yeah, recently my husband tried to encourage me to have sexual relations with another woman, and I felt really uncomfortable about it, and there's that sound again.
I have no idea what that was.
And I'm really uncomfortable about it, and I don't know what to do.
You're uncomfortable mainly at the fact that he wanted you to do it, or that you are uncomfortable about the notion of being with a woman?
Both.
It's kind of upsetting, isn't it?
Yeah.
That this man who you took these vows with is sort of like trying to basically make a little porn movie that he directs. I mean, minus the camera.
Right.
I mean, he's farming you out sexually.
Horrible.
Yeah.
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 No disrespectful to you. No empathy for your feelings.
Is it?
Really, how long have you been married?
3 years.
But on the other hand, you never know until you ask.
No, come on.
All right, I got to work both. You understand? I have
understand.
to work both
yes,
sides
you have
here.
to look at both sides.
Is this normal?
No. I think, first of all,
but it's not totally atypical.
It's not unusual for guys to behave like this, but in a marriage, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's going to destroy your relationship if you actually act on this. People are always quite surprised by the feelings that are generated by bringing another person into that kind of an intimate encounter. It's not purely a physical event. And certainly the women are profoundly affected by it. Men even get affected more, certainly more than they expect. My concern is the fact that he's so preoccupied with this and that he would go as far as trying to make plans with you does not speak well for him or the relationship.
I was shocked. I just didn't know if this was normal. If this
It's not, no.
And you
I don't know how many times I can say that before you're going to accept it. It is not good, not normal.
Drew, don't bash the listeners. Melissa.
Yeah.
Did you ever indicate to him that you were interested in anything like this?
No.
I mean, did you guys ever rent a porn movie and there was a lesbian scene and you kind of went you kind of sat up a little in your chair and
No, I mean, several years ago we watched porn movies, but I mean,
So this
never
is
showed any interest or anything.
this is kind of out of the blue.
Mm-hmm.
Where is he? Is he there?
He's at work.
Oh, because maybe we should call him.
Oh God, no.
Yes. I think what he needs a dose of reality. And you know me, I have a velvet tongue when I need to.
Very velvet. You're so brash.
Yes, I certainly am.
Well, my question was...
Did you say I had a rash? Melissa, can we call him?
No, actually, it would be really impossible.
All right, it would be.
Yeah.
What's he do? He work for NASA or something? What's he do? He's so important he can't take a phone call at work.
Well, he works in a really busy nightclub.
Oh, okay.
And that would... There'd just be no chance.
Topless chicks?
No.
Huh?
No.
Huh?
No.
Huh?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Doing an old Burns and Shriver routine.
You don't know?
What do you mean you wouldn't be surprised?
I'm just kidding.
Okay, so it's a regular nightclub,
Right.
And he's gonna get one of the patrons to come home, and you guys are gonna get it on, and he's gonna watch and masturbate.
Terrible.
It was actually a girl that we had met at a party who was a lesbian, and he said that it was really exciting to him.
Okay. Well, look, he's being honest, and he's saying it'd be exciting, and I don't think we should chastise him too much longer
unless he really comes after her
for
about
bringing it up. Unless he really hounds you, you just be straightforward with him. Tell him not only you're not interested, but that you're a little bit put off at the fact that he would even suggest it,
and hold
give
your
him,
ground,
and
yeah.
hold your ground, and he can hold his penis, and give him a chance to clarify it. And maybe he'll go, oh, I didn't know. I thought that was something you're into, and probably not. But, he may give you a satisfactory answer.
So, but it's not quite that normal. I mean,
something's wrong, I think.
Well, yeah. I mean, in a marriage, but instinctively, he's with the rest of us. It's just most guys don't have the cojones to ask their wife to do that kind of thing. Am I right, Drew? I think I am.
I don't know. You had the cojones to ask my wife everything, including that probably last night.
I don't know if I got into that. But I still remember the part about you vomiting on the farm animal that you were giving like a reach around to in the bedroom or something. It's a little sketchy. It is a little sketchy, but we'll be back to color it in after this.
Meanwhile, halfway across the city, in a small fish market in Chinatown.
Excuse me, could I get some fish?
In the meantime, LoveLine will be right back.
Numbers here at LoveLine, 1-800-LOVE-191, 1-800-568-3191. Fax number 310-854-4455. We are rounding the last corner and heading for the home stretch here of LoveLine.
Wow, amazing.
Which reminds me, Sunday night's guest will be a couple of ladies from the show Partners. So those of you who are fans of the Fox show Partners, get ready for Sunday night. Drew, is there facts you'd like to read?
Here's one. Dear LoveLine, your show is the best, but I have a question. I've huffed gas for a year. I'm not sure quite what that means. I did it almost every day and had highs, or I would call them, quote, peaks, end quote. I would every time have hallucinations.
Nitrous.
Is it nitrous, or is it inhaled hydrocarbons, like really gasoline? Some people do that.
I don't know.
And you will hallucinate from that. You don't typically hallucinate from nitrous. And he's did it for a couple years, wondering what this could have done to me and how it could affect me mentally and physically. Nitrous can cause psychotic episodes. It can cause a polyneuropathy where you lose your motor function. You actually can't breathe, like sort of Guillain-Barré syndrome. There also is, if you're talking about
Guillain-Barré, the famous goalie for the Nordiques. Who the hell is Guillain-Barré?
Famous neurologist, a French neurologist from the turn of the century.
Oh, I'm Guillain.
Yes. In any event, if it's inhaled hydrocarbons, if you're actually inhaling gasoline, you can actually virtually dissolve your brain.
Oh, really?
It's just very destructive to brain tissue. And so, yeah, you can have lots of problems.
And actually, gasoline's a carcinogen now, too. So you could not only dissolve your brain, but then I guess you could get cancer.
Very beautiful.
But, I'm no doctor. And I say that every show, but I'm thinking once your brain's dissolved, everything else is a niche anyway. That's right. The deal breaker. Once the brain is gone, the brain's on ice, you don't really need other things.
And people don't really connect with that. They don't really understand that is where they are. That's who they are.
They're like, well, my brain's gone, but just as long as my pecker, my eyes, and my mouth are working fine, I should have no problem getting through life.
Amazing.
Mark?
Yes.
You're on LoveLine.
Well, nice to talk to you.
Nice to talk to you.
Ramsey, Minnesota here.
Fantastic.
I have a need for useless trivia. I was listening to you earlier here on this evening, and
that's quite a compliment.
Well, hey, I listen to you quite a bit, which says lots of interesting things about my life. But anyway, I'd like to compare something. I used to have a card here. Buddy showed me some years ago. Basically stated the average length of a male's unit was 6 inches. Now, we've obviously discovered that's incorrect.
We certainly have.
Yes, we have. And it also created some other statistics from this. Okay? They took that 6-inch length and took that times the number of strokes per minute, which the average male would insert, I guess.
Right.
That time the average minutes of intercourse.
Mm-hmm.
Times the average number of intercourses per day, or intercourse, whatever, per day for the average female.
Yeah, hold on. Let me get my protractor.
Well,
let's cut to the chase, Copernicus. What's going on?
I'm looking for realism here, okay? Basically, the sum total of this thing is the average female, okay, absorbed over 1 mile of the male organ in 1 year. And I'm curious to know, in realistic terms, again, having nothing better to do with my life.
Indeed.
Where are we at here, guys?
And let me say this. Producer Ann has absorbed Lake Huron, by the way, over the course of her short lifetime. She's miking up. Uh-oh, she's coming back for a rebuttal.
Adam?
Yeah.
What would your point be there, babe?
There's no point to this, actually. It's just fun.
Thank you, Mark.
It was just a little tub reference, and that is all. All right, so well over a mile.
That is.
I think Ann took that a little differently.
Yeah,
Oh, she
well,
did?
You know, again,
I think
and,
she thought she was ingesting something
I suppose
liquid.
one could say how much that was.
No. Mark?
Thank you, Adam.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Have a good night.
No, and they were talking about taking the male penis, and I was throwing in a tub reference there. I meant, well, a little bit of offense, but not that much. Michael,
Yes.
you're on LoveLine.
Cool. Hey, I don't know if this is a real big problem, but me and my girlfriend, we have sex, but the only time we do it is when we're both drunk.
That's the only time you can do it?
Yeah, that's
Are you both really ugly?
no.
Okay.
No,
You realize I have to ask.
we're actually kind of an envy of the crowd, you know. People like the way we are. We can chill together and be cool, but we can only do it when we're drunk.
You're the envy of the crowd, meaning when you go places, people stop and stare. There's some mild applause going on. Once in a while, someone will take some singles and stuff them in your underwear as you pass by.
No, what I mean is, I have friends, and they wish they had the relationship we had, but
okay.
The problem is, it's like, she's not willing. I'm willing to, believe me.
Mm-hmm.
She's just not willing to have sex unless we're both drunk.
Now, I mean, loaded? You know what I mean? I mean, can she just have like a beer to sort of, loosen up a little bit? Some people are kind of, high-strung. They need something to cut the edge, you know what I'm saying? I don't know where I'm going here. But the point...
Something's wrong is what the problem
Yeah,
point
something's
is.
wrong. I mean, but I want to know, is she drinking a six-pack?
Oh, yeah, she puts down a few before we do it.
But she's not. She's getting drunk.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, that the fact that you have to get drunk to do anything is not a good sign.
And you don't have to. You're just... You're
going along. You're going along with it because she's calling the shots.
She doesn't want to drink alone. She's drinking the shots, actually, Drew.
Indeed.
Yeah, is she around?
No, she's not here right now. She's at home.
She's at the bar?
No, she's not an alcoholic. Actually, I think the only really reason she drinks is because I drink a lot.
All right.
I consider myself.
Michael.
Yes.
That was a Fresca sound, Mike, you pinhead. I'm thinking we should call her.
Oh, no, don't. Her parents would flip.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, for folks that are going to answer the phone, Lord knows we don't need that kind of trouble here on Love Line.
Okay, we're good together. Like, we have good times together when we're not drinking. It's just she's not willing to do anything physical.
I mean, how far can you get with her when she's sober?
It's just pretty much, kiss on the cheek here, kiss on the lips, stuff like that.
But if you sat her down and said, look, we have had sex on many occasions, and I feel hurt that you feel that you have to alter yourself in order to have sex with me. I'm offended. I had a girlfriend for many months that asked me to put a pillow sack on my head when we had sex. And after a while, I realized that I should be offended by this. Do you know what I'm saying, Michael? This is not that much different. She needs a few shots in order to deal with like the pain and indignity of having sex with you. I would be offended by that.
Well, this is what I'm saying. I'd feel bad.
Whoop. That was
What?
weird.
Yeah, because it didn't sound like he hung up
Like
intentionally.
he pulled the phone out of the wall or something.
I think he's one of those pacers when he talks like I do.
Right.
Chris,
I do that too.
Do you?
Yeah.
We're both weird.
Yeah.
You don't think about guys sometimes.
No.
Yeah, me neither. Chris.
Hey.
Hey, you're on LoveLine.
Oh, man. Oh, man. It's been one of those nights, man.
Oh, man.
On this show or just in your life?
Oh, my life, man.
What's going on?
I've been having sex with a younger girl.
How old?
She's about to be 17.
Okay. And you're
And I'm
19.
19.
Right.
And she went to the doctors, and they found the doctor checked her and said she had herpes.
Uh-huh.
And my doctor said the only way they could tell was to get a cotton swab
And do a call.
It tested.
Right, and do a culture. That's the only way you can tell as a matter of fact. But you should be able to tell by looking at it.
That too?
Yes, that too.
Yeah, let me ask. Hold on a second. I want to do some of my own little research for a second, Chris. Drew we're constantly getting calls about this is like human papilloma virus.
Yeah.
Okay, we're getting the herpes thing all the time.
Yeah.
And Drew always says virtually, half the people between the ages of 14 and 45 have this.
The virus, one of these
the
viruses,
virus,
yeah.
which leads me to believe that you may have it. By the way, Drew,
leads me to think that somebody in this room must have it.
Look, all I'm saying is you're talking about all that. Oh, everyone's got it. Is no big deal. And I started thinking about that last night. And I was thinking, I was driving on. I was going, I bet Drew has this. He's just trying to soften the blow emotionally for himself. But we won't get into that.
All right.
I guess we already did. But here's my point. You're saying everyone has it. Now I'm walking around. I'm wondering. I'm starting to feel like the weight of the herpes anvil on my penis.
Because you're going to get it.
I'm thinking about it now.
Oh,
now,
there's a high probability.
Thank you. I've never seen. Back off a little, too, by the way. Don't spin on my arm, because I could get it that way. Listen, here's what I want to know. I would know it if I had it, wouldn't I?
Probably. Some people don't, but probably.
But, I mean, I check my penis like a jeweler appraising a ring, like almost every night. I mean, I get the loop out.
Yeah, I wonder why you had that loop. All right.
Whip out the mirror, right?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. If you were that obsessive about it, you probably would know. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I don't have it. No, I'm talking about me.
You couldn't tell the wart virus though that you could have that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What do I have to? What do I?
It can take a long time for the warts themselves actually to develop. Sometimes.
Like how long?
Like years.
Years?
Yeah.
All right. Let's get back to you, Chris.
Sexual encounter.
Chris, you have to go get checked out.
Well, no, she has herpes, but you have not had anything.
Yeah, I went into the doctor's and he did not see anything.
Okay, then either you got lucky, or she doesn't have herpes. Because if you get herpes, if you contract herpes, the chances are the primary outbreak is going to be very noticeable.
And now her parents know that we've been having sex.
Right.
And it's like I can't see her again. And
wow.
Oh man, it's been really bad.
That's a shame.
Chris, check out your pee-pee. And good luck. Oh man, I'll tell you, if I ever have a daughter, and Drew, you may want to think about doing this. When she hits 13, I'm just going to freeze her.
Until society comes around to a better day.
But I want her to age too.
Right.
I got to figure this one out. Well, maybe I'll hook her up to some sort of saline solution or something, and keep her in the thing until she passes menopause.
Right.
And then I'm going to release her out into
idea.
society, because I could not imagine. It's like, you sure you should sleep with that guy, honey? You do have the herpes, you know. I mean, it's 17. Oh, the humanity. And speaking of the humanity, John.
Yeah.
You're on LoveLine.
What's going on, man?
Nothing.
All right. I hooked up with this older lady last night, Valentine's night, and everything in the bar.
Right on.
Getting and kicking it on and everything.
Yeah.
Gives me a ride home.
Okay.
And I know her 21-year-old son, and I'm 24, and she's, God, I never even asked her age, but she's like...
Best not to when they look like they may be old.
Yeah, true.
So
actually, she looked real fine.
Yeah, well, you were loaded. What'd you do with her?
So anyway, we're in the basement of my house and everything, and...
Chicks love the basement, by the way. They like bang them right up there against a foosball machine with the bad paneling and the rust-colored carpet and that dank smell. Okay.
Anyway, I know her son, and he's not really my friend, but I know him pretty well.
But you had sex with his mom?
No, we didn't get that far, but she was pretty grooving on me.
Describe your basement real quickly. Do you have the bad paneling?
No, we got some carpet down there.
Bad rust-colored carpet?
Green.
It's just, 70s style.
70s style, sure. Everything that's not fit to go upstairs ends up in the basement. It's like the house pecking order. And I think gravity just sucks it all into the basement. Do you have that big plaster bust of W.C. Fields?
Nope.
Clowns?
We got some funky pictures down
there. Yeah, the pictures.
Felt pictures.
All right, you're all class. John, don't tell this guy.
What?
Don't tell him what? About the paneling.
I wasn't worried about that, but I was just wondering, I called her up today, and she, sketched out on her age difference and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just wondering what you would say to her.
Are you really interested in her?
Yeah, she's real pretty and everything. We hit it off, we talked, and she's a masseuse and everything, gave me a massage, and we never got to sex, but,
All right, tell her you want her to come down and check out the fake half keg that you mounted on your wall next to the makeshift bar in the basement and get her back over for some seconds, John. Smooth talker.
All right.
And don't tell her son.
No.
And if you get that bus to W.C. Fields, make sure and paint the nose red.
LoveLine will be right back. And if you're not here, we'll hunt you down and shoot you in the head. Just kidding.
We would like to thank Barry Nolan from Hard Copy for coming in tonight and being such a fine guest. I really liked him. Seemed to know a little about everything, was okay talking about everything, and is welcome on the show anytime as far as I'm concerned. Now, when you hear us again, it will be Sunday night, and we'll have the stars from Fox's Partners. A couple of lovely ladies, so I understand. Am I right, Ann? Yes, she is nodding her head.
The names?
We don't have the names yet, Drew. Come on, learn. That's
It
bad
was going to
radio.
be Tate Donovan, but he can't make it.
Good.
And he's Jennifer Aniston's new boyfriend.
Well, we'll learn more about him through our friend Barry.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Drew, you want to read the address?
If you'd like to write us, it's P.O. Box, the old-fashioned way, via the mail. P.O. Box 4345, Hollywood, California, 90078. Box 4345, Hollywood, 90078. And the email number is LUV191 on America Online.
You did that like a real pro. Can we edit that and kind of take out some of the pauses, Mike, or should we just let it run like that? Okay. I would like to thank everyone who came in here this week and made this week a pretty good week. I would like to thank Dr. Drew for being
tolerant,
letting his wife come in here and dish a little dirt. I'd like to thank phone screener Lisa, phone screener Sherry, the beautiful seductress Anne, the angular one. Oh, she's all giddy. Mike, the inangular one on the lovely board. Myself, Adam Carolla. Until Sunday night.
I'm Dr. Drew.
I'm Adam Carolla. We'll see you then.
If you are still listening, you may feel the urge to touch yourself.
So that's it then.
The opinions expressed on LoveLine by Adam Carolla, Dr. Drew, or anyone are not necessarily ours. Be happy. Be happy. Happy, happy, happy. LoveLine's producer is Ann Wilkins. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.